anchor players up at the north were to go down. But anyway, it is time to go to our next Miramar here for the lower bracket 2 as we head on over to the commentators.
More Miramar, more better, as the plane path does also look better.
Yes, this one's a little bit more fair. Not going to be, well, not likely to be as wild as that last one in terms of the circles, but see how it all shapes out. It is a little bit western shifted, so if you're going to get over to Impala, you know, that kind of area, you might have to consider your alternate drop here. So, you know, my eyes are kind of on GEX, for example, as they're already out of the plane early, as they are one of our Impala dropping teams. So they're going to have to look for some other territory to work with. Another interesting kind of point of note here is that Vegopa shifting out of Monte Nuevo a bit, heading up to El Pozo for this. So that's kind of not been their home for a lot of their brief history as a team.
There's a lot to keep a stack into, as where you can see the drops coming out, most of them much cleaner than we saw last time. We had a couple of mix-up. Overpeakers had some friends that were going to be dropping around them. Other than that, it looks like it's a lot cleaner this time around. Everybody pretty much stacked up on top of each other, knowing exactly where they're wanting to go into this one. CES, the only one that's kind of in the thick of two different teams, but I think that that's probably going to end up okay, as Freaks are going to go ahead and land, secure their vehicle.
Yeah, it's kind of usual for some of the drops that are around Picado, around Hacienda, sort of in that vicinity. It can be a little bit tumultuous at times. Sometimes, you know, you think it's safe, it's not. It's not the same. This one's a little bit further north, so it's pretty less likely to drift as far down south. This one's likely to maybe go up a little bit to the north, maybe to the east. We'll see.
Oh, because I know that is so exciting. That area around Picado and how open it is. Our players are going to love that.
Everybody loves that part of the map.
Oh, yeah. So good. So we'll have to see how that one goes with it. Chumacera is also inside this one, Los Leones as well. So I know Picado has been a point of contention for several teams, so seeing it inside the circle is kind of nice. We'll have to see how that one's going to line up all through. So Sonic's in a good position, as well as BBL, who find themselves that drop around Chumacera. They've got a wide situation that's going on with them. And Tyloo, yet again, find themselves pretty much smack dab in the middle of the circle.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to start for Tyloo, but they haven't been able to convert this into many points. I think just 3 points in the previous game for them. Normally, they're a pretty solid Miramar team. They have players on this team who used to be on the old TSG, who won PCS2 Asia a long time ago, but they were well known for their unbelievable Miramar play. That's where they got most of their damage done.
Well, it's one of those weird situations where we often talk about these teams that drop on edge, like Tyloo and where they're presently at, and having this problem whenever the circle actually comes to you, that you're so used to rotating and making these moves at certain times. Now the circle right on top of you, how do you control a spot that usually you just drop at and leave? It sometimes throws a big wrench into some of these teams' plans.
Yeah, it can be tough. It can be deceiving because you're given such priority on something that you think, all right, we're gonna be able to maybe just take a lot of space. We're just gonna sit in the middle of the circle, just stretch our arms, just, you know, relax and chill. And oftentimes, especially in this lobby, that's not gifted. Some of these teams are gonna contest you for those priority spots, especially if they've done their homework and they've seen how you like to approach these circles, seen how you as that central team like to try to control your space. They'll pick on you. They're very happy to take those odd number fights. There's a lot of teams will do that.
That's been the doom of a lot of teams this event so far. Splits can just absolutely demolish you. And you got to be very careful if you're a team like Tyloo, because you've got New Happy and Los Leones so close to you. You know that they're going to come out on an adventure trying to see what they can get control of.
Oh, God, yeah. Or PBL sometimes. We've seen them get,
I mean,
unintentionally spicy early.
What do you mean? Tyloo is right next to GEX, BBL, Sonics, and New Happy. None of these guys like to come out and get control over an area early, right?
Never happens.
Never. No. Everything's going to be fine. One of the few teams that we've got actually rotating right now is going to be Burram, already on the move. Looks like they've got their sights set on a specific location, as Tyloo is making their way up the hillside as fast as Murado can go. And that's going up hillside can sometimes be the fun inside of that vehicle.
Yeah, the torque's not great.
Yeah. It's more about just hitting the road and going fast, right?
Yeah. Or if you're downhill, it can really pick up some speed pretty quick, even off-road. You just want the hard top one. The open top, really dangerous because, again, everything on a car stops bullets except the windows, right? So the hard top is beautiful. It offers a ton of cover. It makes it a really narrow angle that you have to spray through or shoot through to hit the occupants of the vehicle. So, yeah, hard top is what you're looking for. Absolutely. So he's got that going for him, which is nice.
Sonic's already making their move as well, getting pretty close to BBL, just cutting right in between them and New Happy, as Tyloo is going to maintain control over that area. See how far out Sonics are going to move, as they do get a pretty free pass into this one right now, bypassing that open area to the north that we were talking about just a moment ago. So looks like our first settlers are going to come in and get some pretty prime territory. Sonic's still just kind of feeling this one out. Opposite end, you can see it's going to be Freaks that are making the move much closer to Chumacera, trying to bypass right up into this high hillside to get some vision.
I like where the Sonics are going, though. It's a good pivot point for a lot of the likely shifts of this circle, so it gives them an ability to get information, control some territory. It looks like they're playing relatively tight, not completely. There is a little bit of a spread there, but meanwhile, Kwangdong Freaks is trying to pick up right where they left off. Some decent damage to Tender Loss, but it is not going to be the knock here. A little bit of a jump move back to the cover of his building is going to keep him alive. And
the first shots ring out in this area and are going to draw some attention from some of these teams that are now making their rotation. CES over here next to Burram talked about the fact that they made a run in just a second ago. They're going to keep this one out, but Edie is actually going to get dropped as Haisaki is going to go ahead and get control. Friends are going to come in, join off of this one, get the knock onto him as well, as this should be able to get a res. Now, how is CES going to do? Are they going to go ahead and commit into this one? They still send one pretty close.
This is the most Burram thing ever. Who camps this? There's a shotgun in the hand of Canaxes, but he got headshot by that barrel, able to just barely get behind his buggy. Staying alive momentarily, didn't get caught by that Molly either, so able to escape to the safety of the building. And again, that's really where you want to put that pump to good use. Gets out the window even.
Barely escaping that barrel there, as Cerberus has got to find themselves careful with this. Burram is now starting to get more and more prepared for this fight. Kanaxi doing a great job on being a distraction. Himas is just kind of juking around. The rest of Burram now starting to get more information onto him. Kanaxi's like, nah, I got the shotgun, man. I'm just going to keep juking him, keep bouncing around, as PO is going to get some vengeance for what was going on inside that last game. Lash K is going to go down. Kanaxi pops out, one shot, two shots, going to get him down.
I think he shot Himas' Molly out of his hand. That's what's going to get the knock in the long run. So Canaxi isn't going to get the point. He's going to pop one. Tycon down as well as he tries to punish this. And Canaxi feeling really, really good about that. Meanwhile, Petrichor Road as Entropic completely encircled. Lucarux from the vehicle actually going to find a knock. It's 2 down for the side of Petrichor Road as they try to sweep through, see if they can find the last 2 of Entropic.
Petrichor Road getting taken down by drive-bys is oddly fitting. Now we got Entropic, Prep and Muck. They've got the grenade out, and now how is Long going to handle it? Get some vision, but not enough to work around. Stepping back away from it. Entropic has to be careful of their own because they have the expendables that are going to be coming up back behind them, taking some shots. What can EIQ do? They need a game here, and stepping up against Petrichor Road could be big. Now it is getting very, very pivotal that they manage to get something out of this. Lucarux finding an angle, trying to sneak his way through this one. Long still up. This is a 1v1 in all intents and purposes. How are we going to see them make the move through? Lucarux should have the idea. Stepping out, footsteps coming out, shot's going to come. There you go. EIQ finally picks up a fight.
That Long there just wasn't prepared for Lucarux to be that far pushed forward. Now 777 and the Expendables are trying to see if they can finish what Petrichor Road started. Molly out. There's nobody really home for that. Petrichor Road mostly dead, able to clean up a point there onto QBE. You can see Lucarux just went to the safety of the building, and he has to try to run, but he is donezo.
Well, TE says thank you. I will go ahead and take the kill points as they come, and Cerberus isn't done yet. Hey, we saw how shotguns work beforehand. Gonna go ahead and pick up one. Solo coming in here. Solo still got the shotgun. Prep gonna pick up a second one. Walking around saying, hey, how does it feel now? It's not so fun, is it?
Revenge is a dish best served with a pump shotgun. Oh, man, he whiffed it. Oh, he was close.
Oh, so Burram's going to go ahead and recover here. Los Leones going over to the end, going over to them at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, that was. I mean, Burram's so weird, dude. Like, nobody camps that spot usually. It's just the most Burram thing ever here. This is PO's kill onto Lash K, just ratting on the edge of Chumacera. Lash was not ready for that at all. I mean, again, these odd positions. This is what Bagel Pa loves to do. I mean, they're like, look, okay, so. People know I called them the stream team to dream team. Why? Because all of Bagel Pa had taken the first half of this year, all these guys, former professionals who had semi-retired, to be streamers. And then PO is like, I want to play again. I don't have to do my military service. It got deferred. I don't have to do it just yet. I'm going to make a team. And now they're here and potentially going into the grand finals of PGC. But they love to do these little trap plays. They love to set up these moments. It's just, again, we call them just PO things where he's out on his own. He's getting reads on you. He's kind of understanding your tendencies if he's done his homework. And he'll wait in spots that he's expecting you to come and will reap the rewards.
We've got the mess around Chumacera, but most of the other areas are pretty open still, waiting for the next circle going to pop. See where we're going to be sent over to. Overpeakers down to the south, as QM is going to be coming in from the west. Circle is going to send us pretty much a due up. Chumacera is going to stay in. The rest of the team's going to be able to kind of sneak their way in around this, as it really looks like we've got, what, 3-4 teams that kind of have to condense in.
Yeah, this is not necessarily the most likely circle shift that could have come out of here. It gets pretty wild. I mean, who knows? There could be another hard shift down to that hillside that we had in game number 1. It's actually still in play.
Oh, PO. Patience paying off. He wants this one so bad, you can see it. He's waiting for the juke in, not gonna be able to connect off of it, so PO gonna step away as PO things continuing.
Yeah, this is what they like to do. I mean, he's trying to see if he can maybe get them to drift into enemy territory. Smell and Levies holding off Wildcard and doing a wonderful job. Juxu's getting involved as well. So that's going to be likely 2 down here for Wildcard as 2-2 split paying off dividends for
That
TE.
is a hard defended wall. It's got BGP over there. We've got the Expendables. We've got Sonics. FaZe even with oversight. Wildcard chose probably one of the harshest ways to enter the circle, and they got punished heavily for it.
Yeah, it's tough right now. Again, this is kind of not the most expected circle shift. So there's a lot of teams that have fanned out, you know, heavily, including Tai Lu, including BBL, including GEX, took up a ton of space. So the other teams now are getting kind of stuck on the edges trying to find ways in.
Burram doing the same thing over into the east, as Freaks is still just trying to make sure that they've got some distance away from what was kind of going on in Chumacera itself. It's always good to get some distance away from PO. QM on the opposite end of this, just going to do a long wrap all the way down to the south. Hey, worked well for him last time.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you know, this is kind of, it reminds me a bit of old school Navi, and I mean, I think this is a doozy, kind of, he's the shot caller here, right? And so this reminds me of the way they like to play Miramar, bottom to top. They like to play south to north, and the reason being is that you could stay in cover a lot more efficiently, a lot more effectively over time on Miramar in this part of the map, because it all slopes from the river or the sea up into the cities and into the land.
Just a lot more opportunities all in all. I mean, you've got the dips over there, you've got ways with the trees, vegetation that's going to provide some sight blocks. It's just a much more comfortable area, and plus having the sea at your back means the fact that hopefully you don't have anybody that's managed to wrap in behind you. There's just tons of benefits from playing coast up. That's
a really good point. I mean, it's kind of like how Twisted Minds like to play, where they're so efficient about keeping their backside clear. Non looking to find some damage with his SKS onto FaZe. FaZe going to find a dip up on top of the hill, but they're spreading out a bit in a 2-1-1, it looks like for now. Gustav and Eitzi going to flank out. Fex and Diggory going to be locking down this dip. And FaZe, they had a quiet game in the previous one, but they got to 4th place, so they got some extra points. Again, basically all of our top 4 teams did something in that previous game. They were able to get some points. You know, Bagel Pa got a lot of kills. Wildcard got deep into the game. TE got a few kills. They're getting more kills here again. So, again, the rich are getting richer, and that makes things oh so difficult for every team that's from 5th on down. Because, again, top 4 is all that matters here. That's literally it. You got to be top 4 to get to the grand finals.
Overpeakers did a good job on moving into position. They've got Burram on one side, and they've got Tai Lu that's kind of close, but they have a hill that they can control in and of themselves. I did also want to point out that New Happy is only got 1 member near FaZe Clan that was taking those shots just a second ago, and the rest of them are down to the south position. It's going to be Sonics. They're actually the closer threat to FaZe. Okay. Circle is going to go. I think that most people were kind of expecting it to go that way, which means the fact that we get a lot of hillsides inside of it, a lot of ravines as well, so should see some independent fights. Not going to see it be as big a factor as at least the end of last game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a butt clencher for me that it was going to go southeast again, because it has the possibility to. It was either going to go northeast or kind of in this area, but you know, the last time we saw this circle, right, Petrichor Road got the win from the Chumacera edge. That's where Bagel Pa is right now. It's going to be a matter of locking that down.
Okay, wait a minute. We got Sonics. They're making a move right into BBL. They want this position coming in. BBL is trying to regroup, and they need to get there fast, as it is a full lineup from Sonics. BBL knows they just need to wait this one out. Let reinforcement lines into it. Code Marco's trying to hold out. Nobody has really gone down yet, but finally it's going to be H1. Code Marco making sure the fact that he can keep his team in this as much as possible. Now, Trimsy's going to try to make sure that he gets some retaliation back onto it. Is going to connect Nade as well, so no res coming out onto that one. This is its own independent fight, as the rest of the rotations have all opted into the south.
it's a one-for-one trade. Some great little repositioning from Code Marco, some great micro movement in that fight that netted him a kill, but then Shrimzy gets right into that building, gets up, puts that vision to good use. Now you can split this up. You can, there's 3 buildings here. You can share this, but most teams do not want to, because if you can lock this down as a solid team, you can find it. But it's Thunderlost who finds Tiggleton out in the open. That molly just shy, so Tiggleton okay. Let's see if Sonics can clean up this fight and get the res.
This puts more pressure onto them now, though. They have to figure out, okay, do we finish this fight fast? Do we go for the res onto Tig? They know the fact that one of the other members is already down on the opposite side for BBL. What do they want to do? There's even some form of bait, as you can see Smash playing pretty low into this. There was also a fight that was brewing over here between Overpeakers, as you saw Tyloo as well. We have New Happy that also converged into this area. FaZe playing the opposite side of it. And Burram also is capable of taking in some shots. That's why you see people kind of leaning into the hill.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's going to avoid the Death Valley that's in the middle of all this unless you've got a compound, right? There's basically only 2, the one that the Freaks have and the one that BBL and the Sonics are fighting over. Tiggleton going to be finally cleaned up. There was an attempt to lay down some smokes to try to let him crawl through, but BBL not going to let that happen. FaZe playing Overwatch on this fight, seeing if they can snatch any points away from these 2 teams. But now it is a man advantage for BBL. And again, this doesn't have to be necessarily as aggressive as it is. Mime getting a little bit of damage there, as now BBL trying to use some of this chaos to try to push underneath.
This reminds me of my apartment right after high school. It's just noisy. Nobody wants to be there. People partying all the time. Guess what? More people want to come party, as it looks like TE says, hey, let's go ahead and crash into this position as well. You said there's 3 buildings, so let's just all share, right?
Exactly. There's one
fine
for each team. It's totally fine.
That's the way apartments works, correct?
Yeah,
That's Juice, guess what? PO says hello as well, as you can see what's going to be happening, and now the Expendables got to figure out how expendable they may be, and seeing if they can kind of play the opposite side of the wall is going to be favored as the circle does move into this location. So that means the fact that no real rush having come out in this fight yet.
I'd really like to see Bago Pa get Tamian and DG98 off of that hill and back into kind of that refinery area. Meanwhile, TE had to expend some smokes to cover the angles from Bago Pa, trying to push over this fence line. Code Marco once again trying to hold it. Kikamuka spraying down FaZe as they are driving down the hill.
Everybody inside of that compound better be happy, because Wildcard taking those shots, it does stop FaZe in their tracks, and that's now created a logjam of teams that are going to be coming in back behind us. BBL still trying to defend. Good spray coming up from Smash, trying to hold the lawn up for it. It's going to be Smell that does connect on the opposite end of it. So now, Code Marco is going to be out on the outside of this one, trying to see if he can flank around through everything that's going to be going on. Mime and the rest of the team are leaning far more down into the south, trying to regroup through, and that nade might bounce pretty well. Not going to go ahead and get the last tick of damage with it. So now, back on the opposite side, you can see it's going to be Overpeakers that are playing over here, and let's not forget the fact that we have Burram also bumping into question mark at the exact same time that we've got New Happy that's moving into FaZe's location.
Yeah, this is a lot going on right now, and Sia trying to finish the job. Not going to be happy. It's actually Kikamuka saves Overpeakers' lives there. Smash is going to be gone. I think Levies did get finished off for the side of TE. Code Marco and Thunderlost continue to try to play defense. Mime around the corner, not ready for that. Thunderlost just barely able to find it. It's all on the Shrimzy for the Sonics.
I mean, it's tried and true. Last member up for the Sonics looking through, as it looks like nobody's coming out of this one clean. You can see Expendables down to 2. BBL taking their own damage. Shots coming out from Hikari. Everybody is now looking into this compound because they're realizing what's going to be going on. As I mean, it is just popping off everywhere. Even outside it, you can see it's going to be the Burram and question mark fight, as it looks like this might... Oh, no! FaZe finally says, hey, guess what? We're tired of dealing with Wildcard. Let's go ahead and jump into this one, too.
I love this. Let's go, FaZe. They're going to lose Gustav on the entry, but they are going to find Shrimzy in return. Beck's going to get knocked here as well. Code Marco still trying to keep TE at a bay. A decent spray coming through. 777 knows where he's at. Thinking about the grenade. Code Marco seeing if he can fish some FaZe members out. That grenade not going to get deep enough. 80 entrenched in this bathroom, able to avoid any damage.
This is just death incarnate. Every single team that comes in here is just coming out battered and bruised. It is going to be Burram that ends up winning that fight. It's outside the circle. It's chaos. Of course Burram's going to come up with the end of that fight, but now they have to make a rotation in, and it's going to be GEX that are going to be taking shots at him as the chaos of the compound is continuing.
Yeah, I think it's just Noadro's gotten out of there. Cheeksing's still in the blue. It is only phase 4 blue, so it's not as devastating as it could be, but I'm curious if they're going to be able to get him out of there.
We're in a competitive PUBG game at Circle 4 with 25 up. When did we just start playing ranked?
That's a really good question. This is definitely the makings of a ranked lobby, and that, you'd feel like that favors Burram, but they're pretty beat up, so I think they're not long for this this lobby is the teams are starting to get forced off of the high ground, and that's forcing a lot of fights. Bagel Pot, Hillside still going to stay in, so it's looking, again, very similar to that game that Petrichor rode from the position that Bagel Pot is in. And Pio going to get the big grenade.
Oh, man, that's just going to be even more stacking up for him. BGP feeling pretty good about this one. They're going to have a lot of control over a high ground point, looking down into a lot. Freaks holding the compound as well. Wildcard already inside the circle. Remember, they were taking shots at Phased and forced them in. This compound, though, with the, I guess, remnant teams that are hiding out inside of it, this is going to be weird watching them try to figure out some way to get out of here.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where, like, one player is going to get out of it. It's a little replay of Clip holding this down. I mean, look, Clib's nuts. We all know it, and then he gets hit by Giant's car after he gets shot him out of it. Oh, no. That is a brutal way to go down. And why Kikamuka, again, from afar, going to be the one to finish things. Back over to Smelt. Still keeping 8Z at bay. Sort of TE has a bit of a positional advantage in this. New Happy taking their sweet time coming through. Going to have to lay down some smokes, trying to find the hillside for a little bit of cover.
This is... It is a hill. That's about the best I can say for it. And New Happy's going to try to make that one work. Wildcard could have some vision in this if they stretch out. Yep, they're going to be able to take a couple of pot shots, at least make it uncomfortable for New Happy. As the compound still lined up, Code Marco here is the pitter-patter of feet that are going to be coming around the corner. Gets one and does get the second with Code Marco. 5 kills on fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, Code Marco is doing a wonderful job all throughout the beginning of the hold of this compound to the end, playing this eastern edge so well. Again, it's his individual micro movement, keeping himself alive, repositioning, outguessing his opponents that has led him to this point where he may just damn well win this fight.
1v1, finally going to finish this one out. Looks like 8Z knows where this might be coming from. Flashbang's going to come out. Door's going to go as well, trying to use the cover there. Not going to find too much. His bodies just litter the floor. The dance around the outside as they're just trying to fight for vision is going to be continuing. But Code Marco's got himself a shotgun. He knows what you need in these close-range fights.
5 kills already. Let's see if he can get the 6th. 8Z. Again, our top damage dealer from yesterday, absolutely insane for FaZe. A big reason why they're up there in one of those top 4 spots. They're just throwing smokes at each other.
Throwing the smoke up there because he saw that he went up to the second story to block out more vision. That is well played.
No, I mean, it's really smart. I mean, and the closer of a fight that Code Marco can make this with this pump shotgun, the better.
I mean, this is a very valiant fight for somebody to be able to walk out and feed a kill over to Wildcard.
Wow.
Pretty much what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's some NA bias there.
Well, no, I mean, they're just going to be looking right into it. It's either going to be them or the Freaks that are going to pick this one up. Everybody is watching, waiting to see who's going to win, and it is going to be Code Marco. Well played. Now, what do? That zone is ticking. It's either going over to the blue zone, it's going over to BGP, or it's going over to Wildcard, man.
He should just heal for a while and see if he can maybe get lucky. Pio has his eyes onto Wildcard now, trying to put some damage into them and their vehicle tires. Hikari has seen Code Marco. Long-range SKS is going to pop the tires, and he is going to connect the shot to finish the job. So, hell of a performance from Code Marco. What a game from him.
I mean, picking up kills, surviving into this stage is massive, especially given how many teams went in there. That was just a meat grinder of a fight. Now, BGP has to figure out what they're going to do around this one. It looks like they're starting to stretch out. It's going to be Wildcard taking some shots and forcing them up closer into Freaks territory.
Yeah, so they're going to send Pio out ahead, leave a couple behind to put some pressure onto Wildcard, see if Pio can find just enough terrain cover there. And he is going to find the rock here. He's going to take this spot where Tai Lu and OP met their dooms, and he's going to load up. He is going to be able to restock fully on just about everything he needs. You can see he's got a couple extra grenades in there now. He is sitting quite pretty. Meanwhile, New Happy kind of has to angle towards Wildcard. They can't really push over this hill unless they can get right up next to the Freaks.
This sucks for Happy because, like, if they move into Wildcard's direction, not just Wildcard, but Pio can see them as well.
Yep.
If they try to crest the hillside, then that means that's going to be GEX and Freaks that see them. The only thing they can try to use is this opportunity. GEX now making a rotation down and around. Looks like they're trying to get into this dip where SSR is. While it is inside the circle, it is just narrowly there. So BGP now going to come down, reinforce this Pio position as it looks like they feel this is the strongest spot that they can play from.
Nice alliteration there, Pio position. I like that. So, I mean, I could see a world where New Happy tries the third-party GEX if they get suffered any knocks there to the Kwangdong Freaks. Did not actually happen, so I think for now New Happy has to return their attention towards Wildcard. And you can see that's exactly what they're doing. Smokes are out to cover the angles from their west. They try to continue to push forward, but GEX now has a bit of an angle, making things rather dicey for New Happy. Going to cost them a little bit of heals, a little bit of armor. you know, health along the way as well as Zennon just looking. Oh, he saw a glimmer maybe.
I mean, the Smokes are buying some positionals and letting New Happy kind of creep into this one. It's actually going to be BGP that's holding down Wildcard. That's the biggest benefit in what's going on, because they are starting to move into that potential throwable range, and you can see why Kikamukau can't really even peek out. With the amount of harassment that's coming from Freaks and GEX, neither one of these teams that are in the East can do near on anything.
No, it's really, really hard for New Happy, and you can see that's why they're trying something a little bit different, sending Ming Ming out. They're really trying to fan out and just trying to... This almost feels like a survival play here from New Happy. Oh, what a great shot from Y Kikamukau. Gets the knock on the TP on. The continued fire coming out of Bagel Pa. I'm wondering if Bagel Pa is starting to run out of ammo, because they've been on that high ground for quite some time. It's actually going to be SSR who's going to steal that point away from Wildcard.
Well, Ming did manage to get into the safety of the cliffside, and he's going to be about it from what it looks like. They saw, with the Freaks and GEX saw what happened, so now they're prepped for the next movement, and that's going to be much harder to try to pull off. New Circle pops, favors BGB's position, so good luck to GEX, New Happy, and Wildcard to try to figure out a way to move into this one.
This could be a little bit tough for BGP if people try to kind of pressure PO's position there. Great knock from Savior onto Ming Ming with that 2XM4. Gonna tap it on down, get that point. So lots of New Happy falling here. Adam got knocked from Nando, the sole survivor for NH Esports. This could be tricky, because if the Freaks have to kind of wrap out along that top edge. Why not, dude?
Oh, okay. I like the idea.
The cow is ready.
Yeah, that's the intent. What else are you going to do? Try to pick up a kill out of it, right? Because this is their life. You listen to that.
Oh,
like, what do you do?
Cow has no helmet. Well, that... There you go.
Like, it just, all you just... You can't even, like, hear the comms with the other team.
So this is going to come down to, like, how much damage can the Freaks do to GEX or vice versa. Bagel Pa is just going to fortify this position, try to hang on. I mean, Taman had taken quite a bit of damage, able to get the heal on in. GEX starting to leapfrog their way forward with their surviving vehicles, and you can see Bagel Pa wants to try to cover all these angles. They want to keep the Freaks from being able to rotate onto the high ground up to the top, and also try to keep GEX pinned. Force those two teams to fight if you can help it.
So we're kind of seeing the game that we were expecting to see for a while now that everything's finished off in the East. It's a jockeying for position with BGP getting the most control. Again, leaning into PO, letting him go down, get that center control area. A lot of pressure on him to make sure he doesn't go down while he's trying to harass. As Freaks do still have a compound that they can play around, but it puts them so close to the edge and right next to GEX, that is going to be very uncomfortable moving.
Yeah, I think the... Oh, that's a awful knock to take there for the Freaks. That was their player on the roofs, kind of giving them a lot of control and presence in this. Savior now, seeing if he can find any more damage into members of Bagel Pa who are using these hillsides to peek, and nobody's really able to find anything either way. But that's a really rough knock to take there for the Freaks. They're going to lose a bit of territory control, and you can see GEX is able to use that to get underneath them, get inside of this next circle at the very least. Rez does come through. Freaks can wait, and they're going to, because they have the safety. Again, the Freaks are kind of thinking the same thing that Bagel Pa is, right? I want to force GEX to fight Bagel Pa. Bagel Pa wants to fight, you know, have GEX be fighting the Kwangdong Freaks. So it's a really kind of... It's a rock, paper, scissors of sorts.
And meanwhile, PO's just like, I want to shoot everybody.
Well,
that's
yes,
his life, right?
That's his life.
Circle's going to pop in. Oh, I'm so shocked that
he's made a pretty good living doing it.
BGP is going to be living inside that circle. This is true. And now Hikari, though. Look at this sneaky little flank that he's trying to pull off, creeping off onto this angle. Songyong better have an idea that this is going to be coming, because if he gets into here, he can really turn this game around on its head. The shots coming out from GEX are doing a great job on providing a distraction. Hikari now getting an idea on where they're at. But look, Songyong is laying down right there. I don't think that he's going to see that one, so that might be a jack-in-the-box of death that is going to pop up right in Hikari's face.
Oh, he didn't. I thought he might have seen him there. DG kind of looked in that direction. Songyong is just waiting for the shots to come out before he's going to pop up. He's got some really nice gear sitting on there. I see a level 3 helmet, only a level 2 vest. But now Hikari...
You can see, what do I do? Do I throw a nade? Right. Do I shoot? He's trying to figure out the right way to do this one. GEX, though, now going to make a massive move with this EE end, has also managed to get into a spot, and so now looking in, Songyong is going to be taking the shots at EE end and going to get the knock onto him. Songyong, though, now has to be very careful as it's going to be Hikari on the outside. Doesn't get the knock that he was wanting to get. The sprays are going to come out, and now he's got to move out. He's standing wide out in the open. Akkad does manage to hit the shots at Taman, but everything is going wild. PO's trying to take the shots at GEX while all of this is going on.
GEX might just profit from this move. move by the Guangdong Freaks. They couldn't find the knock. Now BGP has completely turned their attention to the northern side of that hill. Pio doing a bit of damage into SSR, swaps over to the SLR. Stuns coming out from Zennan to try to buy his teammates some time. Ikari still in this fight with Sungjong. Sungjong now has at least some cover. Gonna go for the grenade, peeking.
He's got to make something out of this. He got so close to turning this game around, but it's going to be GEX that's getting so close right up into this one. DG98's trying to move in to provide some support to Pio, who's been holding this line up against GEX for so long, but he is going to go down. GEX is thriving in the chaos that is going on right now. With this shift into Freaks, suddenly Pio is just having to hold up everybody from GEX, and he's trying to maneuver through this one. We still have the fight that's going on with Freaks back behind us, but now it is just Pio trying to make something happen here as GEX is taking control of the game.
Pio's going to need some help from the Guangdong Freaks if he's going to find anything further into this game. That spray could be a knock, and it is. He's got to worry about the other members of GEX pushing on around him. Ikari now laying down some fire. It's going to be EN being knocked for the Freaks. Pio's right next to him. He's got the knock on his Zennan.
He's trying to stay alive inside this one. He's got smokes. He's finally going to go down, but now it's going to be the Freaks that move in, capitalize off of it, and pick up a crazy victory.
Back-to-back wins for the Guangdong Freaks, and that one was much more difficult for them in the long run. That was a crazy back-and-forth fight. I thought Bagel Pa was going to win it. Then I thought GX was going to win it. Then I thought the Guangdong Freaks were going to win it. And in the end, they were the ones who did. But man, oh man, what a wild end.
We talk about superstar moments and trying to set up something. There's so much that you can look at inside of that. Pio trying to hold back a full team solo. You can see Ikari trying to go for that flank. Him just taking those shots, setting off the domino effect, allowing GEX to make their move. There was so much to look at inside of that one, and what was just going to be, I guess, a harsh game for two different teams. They somehow managed to capitalize off of each other's movements and play that so well.
Yeah, this was a really nice maneuver from GX. They got that knock on a COD, they cut underneath, get further into the circle underneath that hillside. They give themselves a really damn good opportunity. But again, that high ground, so important for the Guangdong Freaks. Bagel Pa tried to lock it down. They weren't able to in the long run, and the Guangdong Freaks were able to find the shots, find the angles.
Well, it is a good time to be a fan of the Freaks, and it's also a good time to be a fan of our Freaks, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to them.